Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I value this opportunity to share some thoughts with you through the Economic Times 7th Annual Insurance Summit. The year 2020 has been nothing like anybody would have imagined. It has been a year of many contradictions and contrasting shades. A year that took us many steps back in development, but also allowed us to take many leaps forward at the same time. We have experienced times causing untold human suffering and death, unraveling of social relationships, robbing individuals of livelihoods and countries of prosperity. Just as we were beginning to believe that we humans have taken control over the perennial problems of the past few centuries, call it plague, call it famine, wars, suddenly a microorganism came along to remind us how vulnerable we are. In one stroke, coronavirus has taken the world back to the experience of a pandemic, an artificial famine-like situation created due to widespread lockdown, and also a world where nations are closing ties and transactions for different reasons altogether. The other day, I was talking to a group of outgoing graduates at the convocation, and I somehow felt some of them would have thought maybe I should have been born in a different century altogether, maybe not in this century. And probably from that, this social media text came out, I remember some time back. It was a request to God to reboot 2020, since 2020 has a virus. Of course, we can't do that. We need to adjust to the new normal, and we are doing that. We have been forced to rethink the way we worked, the way we operated, the way we lived. The change has been so dramatic, and the learning curve has been so steep. And 2020 has brought along such important lessons, such significant changes, that rebooting 2020 would mean foregoing all of these. And therefore, I believe the theme of today's meeting is indeed, there is no going back from here. There are many changes that have happened in the last so many months. They say never waste a crisis. And the crisis brought in by Corona was not to be wasted either. It is absolutely commendable the way different sections of the economy and society have displayed resilience and risen up to the occasion overnight to fight the pandemic and mitigate the resulting hardships. I would like to take this opportunity to bring to light some positive changes that have emerged. 3 or 4 of them I will mention. And I'm sure you will agree that some of these changes, behavioral or otherwise, were long intended to be, but were not materializing because of our own unrelenting attitudes. Attitudinal changes do not happen easily. And however, the forced changes in behavior due to Corona has brought about a change in attitude on many fronts. 3 changes or 4 changes I will highlight, which I do not want to change. The changes should continue and there should be no turning back. The first and the most significant change is the rise in acceptability for digital payments and the digital world as a whole. The rising fears of COVID spread when the physical transactions almost crashed totally. The digital payments in India witnessed an exponential spike in the first 21-day lockdown period. The crisis left no option but expedited society into the digital world. Technology that experts predicted the industry would adopt in 5 years is now on track to being embraced in a matter of mere months. This applies to all matter of our personal and official lives, from buying groceries to online classes, everyone has been made to migrate to the digital world. And digital payment platforms have also not seen a surge in the number of transactions alone, but the number of downloads of digital payment platforms as well has doubled. Of course, in the pre-virus days also, you'll remember the world was already on a trajectory to become a digital-first society. Some countries were ahead of the curve. They were already conducting 56% online transactions. Some were at 23%. But what we're seeing now is a rapidly increasing demand for these type of payments, even in India. And what has happened is in our own insurance industry, not only online payments have become a surge, but other customer transactions that are more detailed, like new business transactions, policy servicing transactions, have also increased in volumes. Acceptability of the intermediaries and our agents to adopt these methods of new business procurement has also increased. The most interesting part of this whole thing, the change, is that even though it was the Gen Z and millennials who led the global digital payment revolution, but COVID has forced even the older generations to embrace it. We are seeing new user groups embracing e-commerce, digital payment methods at a much faster rate than anyone ever thought. It's important that these new customer and consumer habits, which are taking root, will become preferences, and that will persist long after the pandemic. And therefore, this is one change I do not want to change. There's no going back on this. The second benefit can be seen in the form of better work and life balance, which has come with work from home. More than half the global workforce is remotely working as the pandemic continues to threaten the health through the second, third wave, and so on. Across the world, we are induced into a prolonged period of hybrid working from home and office in different proportions. The crisis has taught us with forced practical implementation that we can accomplish most tasks remotely without a significant drop in productivity or quality. Most employees appreciate flexibility, especially those with long commute times. From the employee perspective, the shift is massive and very consequential. People are making new choices about where they want to live and creating new expectations about flexibility, working conditions, and life balance that cannot be undone. A recent research conducted on 4,700 knowledge workers found the majority never want to go back to the old way of working. Only 12% want to return to full-time office work, and 72% want a hybrid remote office model moving forward. It's true that over time, face-to-face interaction is required to facilitate collaboration, build relationships, solve complex challenges, and generate ideas. Continuous remote work extends the workday, diffuses work-life boundaries, and impacts mental well-being. However, with these pros and cons, organizations will have to rethink their working arrangements. This recalibration will eventually settle on a sustainable new normal, likely a hybrid workforce and distributed workplace. We all know that work will never be the same, even if we don't yet know all the ways in which it will be different. What we can say with certainty is that the sudden shift to distributed work has provided a once-in-a-generation opportunity to reimagine everything about how we do our jobs and how we run our companies. If we can move past decades of orthodoxy about 9 to 5, office-centric work, there's an opportunity to retain the best parts of office culture while freeing ourselves from bad habits, inefficient processes, from ineffective meetings to unnecessary paperwork. This is the chance to keep that change. This is the second change I don't want to change. There is no going back on this change. The third change has some connectivity to the second one, that we need to get rid of the roads which are congested. These have become decongested now. Public places and office spaces. reducing traffic congestion and maintaining social distancing norms and staggered working hours for businesses and offices is already being implemented in many parts of the world. For a long time now, traffic experts, activists, and commuters have been suggesting staggered work timings to decongest the cities and avoid overcrowding. Most private and government offices work from 9 to 5. A solution to overcrowding is possible if these offices would have people clocking in for work in waves between 7 and 11 and leaving after the fixed number of hours are up between 3 and 7. Just an idea. Staggered working hours have found acceptance in many cities worldwide, with private businesses and government offices adopting staggered shifts. This improves productivity, it increases work-life balance, reduces employee burnout, and improves energy sustainability, in addition to its main function of traffic and commuter dispersal. These have been implemented so far in geographies as diverse as Singapore to Austin, Texas to Beijing, and so on. Coupled with digital migration and work from home culture, staggered working hours for those who are required to be physically present at work will bring in more benefits than apparent. Therefore, this is the third change I feel we should embrace, and there should be no going back. And now, friends, I come to the most important change that all of us have seen in our industry. The most significant change, I believe, that one impacts all of us, and the corona crisis has brought in, is a change in mindset of people towards insurance, particularly in a country like ours, that continues to be underinsured with very low levels of insurance penetration. Insurance continues to be sold and not bought, and we've been told that ever since. But corona has changed this. And I heard someone saying in one of our meetings that from being a push product, it is slowly become at least a nudge product now. The havoc created by COVID has resulted in the bolstering of demand for insurance products, be it in protection, health, guaranteed return segment, or others. The awareness about insurance has gone up considerably. The indications are very clear in our business numbers as they go up. Even though our industry saw new business premium decline substantially in Q1 of 21, since July, I believe the business has been seeing an uptick. It's a fact that in spite of collective effort of the regulators, the government, and insurance companies, life insurance specifically as a penetration has been quite low in our country compared to other countries. But I see that changing now. And the pandemic has thrown light on the importance of life insurance and health insurance. With people cutting across age groups being affected by COVID, we have begun to understand the importance of life insurance and that it has become an essential part of the new reality of our economy in the long term. And people are also aware today that life insurance is an essential ingredient to mitigate the uncertainties of life, provide financial securities to their families, and build a robust financial group. The effect of the pandemic may have a long-lasting effect on life insurance, and I believe this can be the defining moment for life insurance in India. I am hoping that this change will be permanent and there is no going back on this. I thank the organizers for bringing together this invigorating session called Reinvigorate the Future. I am sure that the discussions that take place here will help all of us find not only a better world for the days ahead, but also engage us in reimagining a better world. I wish all of you continued good health and well-being. Please stay safe and take care of yourself. Once again, I thank you for the opportunity, and I wish the Economic Times Annual Insurance Summit the very best. Thank you.